The legend's last dance. Tony Ferguson reveals his ultimate UFC comeback. Tony Ferguson has always been a force of nature, a fighter who embodies pure grit and unyielding heart. For over a decade, he terrorized the lightweight division, his unorthodox style and relentless pressure earning him an almost mythical status. He's the kind of fighter who leaves everything he has in the cage, a true warrior who lives by a code of honor and has given us some of the most memorable moments in the sport's history. Now, after a tough run and a departure from the UFC, El Cucuy is stepping into a different kind of ring for his pro boxing debut. But even with a new chapter beginning, his heart remains tied to unfinished business in the octagon. He's made it clear that while his current path is outside of the UFC, there are two fights that could bring him back for one final explosive performance. For years, fight fans dreamed of seeing Tony Ferguson in the cage against two of the biggest names in the sport, Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. These weren't just matchups. They were rivalries built on a foundation of respect, rivalry, and a shared history of dominance. Ferguson, with his incredible 12-fight win streak, was the boogeyman of the lightweight division. He captured the interim title and seemed destined to meet either the undisputed champion or the sport's biggest star. But destiny had other plans. Despite 5 separate bookings against Khabib, the fight that everyone wanted to see never came to be. It's a bitter pill for both Ferguson and the fans, a reminder of what could have been. Even now, as he steps away from the promotion where he became a legend, the thought of those two matchups lingers. They represent not just a paycheck, but a chance to settle scores, to prove himself against the very best, and to write a final glorious chapter in his storied career. He recently spoke to Seconds Out, and his words were a testament to the competitor that still burns inside him. I mean, the only fight in the UFC I'd want to be able to do would be either Conor, McGregor, or Khabib Nurmagomedov. Ferguson said, "You know, when he's done with his world tour, we've got some things, some unfinished business, but I don't think that they would ever fight me," he continued. "I don't think that they want that." His words speak to a deep-seated frustration. For so long, he was the guy no one wanted to fight, the relentless pressure machine who would push you to your absolute limits. While he acknowledges the unlikelihood of these fights happening, his willingness to come back shows just how much they mean to him. Conor McGregor, a grudge match built on what-ifs. The rivalry between Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor is a classic case of two fighters who were on a collision course but never met. In 2017, everything seemed aligned. Ferguson had just defeated Kevin Lee to claim the interim lightweight title, and McGregor was preparing to return to the UFC after his mega fight against Floyd Mayweather. The fans were salivating at the prospect of a high-stakes, high-energy showdown between two of the most dynamic personalities in the sport. But the fight never happened, and according to Ferguson, there's a good reason for that. He believes that McGregor and his camp were intimidated by what he knew about their training and strategy. It's a bold claim, but it speaks to the confidence and psychological edge that Ferguson has always had. In an interview with Dublin Live, he revealed that he had detailed information on McGregor's camp and was prepared to use it to his advantage. If it does come to fruition, a fight against McGregor, yes, I will turn it up, and I will hire everybody that I used to when we were getting back, because I got the full dossier, Ferguson said. I got paperwork on how these guys were training, what they were doing, and at that time, why they were doing it, he added. And it scared them out of their minds. They wanted nothing to do with me. This kind of revelation is vintage Tony Ferguson. He's not just a fighter. He's a master of mental warfare, always looking for an edge. He believes that his insight into McGregor's training was a significant factor in the fight never being scheduled. While we may never know the full story, it adds another layer to the long-standing animosity between these two legends. Khabib Nurmagomedov, the fight that haunts history. Perhaps the most tragic and talked about non-fight in mixed martial arts history is the one between Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov. It was booked a jaw-dropping 5 times, each time falling through for various reasons, from injuries to a global pandemic. It was a fight that felt like destiny, a clash of two undefeated titans, one a master of pressure and the other a master of grappling. The hype was immense, the anticipation electric. It was the ultimate test of wills and skill.